Hello, lovely people. Welcome to Easy Learn Graphic Design, element of professional graphic design, brought to you by your man John Good, Senior Lecturer at Tech Media. In this lesson, we are going to look at the basic core elements you need to know about to become a professional graphic design. You can't just design, you can't just flow in the graphic design field if you don't understand the basics, if you don't understand the foundations, if you don't understand the things or the core uh, stuffs you need to know to become a professional graphic designer. So in this course, I'm going to introduce you to the basic elements you need to know about in order to become a professional graphic designer. So let's get into the course and let's get flowing. So in this lesson, we are going to look at uh, basic softwares or professional softwares you need to learn in order to become a professional graphic designer. We are going to look at the paper types and sizes that we have. We are going to look at our color mode, and then we are going to look at resolution. So let's keep going. Let's get going. There are so many designing softwares out there. We have Canva and others online that you can use to design your graphics or any other thing you want to do for printing or for social media like that. But the basic industry standard applications that we use as the industry standard ones are Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, and CorelDRAW. These are the basic softwares you need to learn in order to become a professional graphic designer. Okay, so here are the logos of the softwares I'm talking about. So we have PS, which stands for Adobe Photoshop. We have AI, which stands for Adobe Illustrator. We have ID, which stands for Adobe InDesign, and then we have CorelDRAW. Adobe Photoshop is an image editing software and also a bitmap or a rasterized software, which means that this application works perfectly on pictures. It works perfectly on pictures because of certain features that it has, like the effects panels and other things that we have. So you can use it to correct your pictures, and then you can also use it to repair your pictures and that stuff. But when we talk about photo editing application, the main industry standard photo editing application is Lightroom. That is the basic standard application for editing pictures. That is Lightroom. But you can also use Photoshop to edit your pictures as well. And you can also use Photoshop to create your banners and other designs. You can use Photoshop for that. So in the graphic design fields, some people use Photoshop in creating banners and other stuff. In fact, Photoshop is a great and then a powerful software because it can do a lot of things. You can use Photoshop to create a website, you can use it to create illustration, you can use it to edit your videos, and so many other things. In fact, Photoshop is an amazing application I recommend to anyone if you want to come into graphic design, or if you want to study graphic design, or if you want to become a designer. In fact, Photoshop is a great application for you to start with. Then the next on the list is Adobe Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator is a vector-based software, which means this application works best on drawing and sketching artworks. You can also use it for banner and other designs as well. Yes, Illustrator too is a very powerful and a great software. In fact, I have a colleague of mine, the only application he uses is Illustrator. Yeah, he uses Illustrator for everything. Anything that I want to do in Adobe Photoshop or CorelDRAW, he will use Illustrator to get it done. So Illustrator is a very powerful software you can also learn if you want to come into graphic design. And then the next on the list is CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW is also a vector-based software, which means this application also works on drawing and sketching artworks as well. You can also use it for your banner designs and other designs as well. So it's also a great application for you to learn. In fact, I actually began my graphic design career or profession with CorelDRAW. I learned CorelDRAW first before I moved into Photoshop and the rest. So it's actually a great application you can also use. So in this section, it means that Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator and CorelDRAW are on the same line because they are all vector-based software, so you can use any of them. Literally, I use all the three applications depending on what I'm working at. Yeah, if I'm working on books and then receipt and other stuff, either I use Illustrator or CorelDRAW. But if I have to work on a design that has to do with a lot of images and other stuff, then I prefer going for Photoshop. Probably if I want to create some effect and other stuff, then I prefer going for Photoshop. But if I have to just design something which has to do with some logos and other stuff, which doesn't really require a lot of photo editing stuff, then I prefer going in for Illustrator or CorelDRAW. Okay. All right, so that is it. You can choose any of these applications for your uh, artwork. Welcome to EasyLearn Graphic Design, element of professional graphic designing. Brought to you by John Good, Senior Lecturer at Tech Media. In this course, we are going to look at the basic elements you need to know about if you want to become a professional graphic design. So the first element that we are going to look at is the software types. There are so many softwares we use for designing. Some are online like Canva, but if you want to become a professional, then you have to use this industry standard softwares, which is Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and CorelDRAW. These are the industry standard applications that we use in graphic designing. So here are the logos of the softwares. So we have PS, which is Photoshop. We have AI, which is Illustrator. We have ID, which is InDesign, and then we have CorelDRAW. Okay. So the software types that we are talking about, when we talk about Adobe Photoshop is an image editing software and also a bitmap or a rasterized software, which means that this application works best or perfectly on pictures. But also you can use it for your banner design and other designs like t-shirts, printing, t-shirt designing and printing. You can also use it for your invitation card. You can use it for your call card and business card. Yeah, so it's not just limited to editing pictures. Yeah, we know the industry standard software for editing pictures is Lightroom, but you can also use Photoshop to edit pictures because of its ability and then its uh, effective way. I mean, there are a lot of effects in Photoshop that you can use it to correct and then also edit your pictures. Even when you are using Lightroom, somewhere, somehow, sometimes you have to merge Photoshop and then Lightroom together to be able to edit your pictures perfectly. Again, we have Adobe Illustrator, which is a vector-based software. This means that this application works best on drawings and sketching artworks. Okay, you can also use it for your banner designs, for your poster designs, and any other design that you want to use it for, even though they have their strength. You can also use it for any other design you want to use it for. Then from there we have CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW is also a vector-based software, which means that this application also works best on drawing and sketching artworks. Okay, you can also use it for your banner and other design. So it means Photoshop and CorelDRAW, CorelDRAW and then Illustrator has the same capability. It means they do the same thing. Yes, Photoshop and CorelDRAW has the same capability. Sorry, I mean Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator and then CorelDRAW. Illustrator, I mean when we talk about Illustrator, means to illustrate. So And then when we talk about CorelDRAW, means also to draw. So illustrate and then CorelDRAW. The draw also means that to sketch out something. So they all have the same strength and then they do the same thing. So these are the applications that you can use for your graphic design. If you want to become a professional, you can learn any of these applications and then you can use it for your project.